You know what's holding you back right now? It's not your circumstances. It's not your past. It's not even the challenges you're facing today. What's holding you back is that little word that keeps spinning around in your mind like a broken record. How? How am I going to do this? How is this going to work out? How can I possibly make this happen? And I'm here to tell you something that might shake up everything you believe about making changes in your life. Stop asking how. Just stop it. When you wake up in the morning with a burning desire, with a vision of something you want to create, with a feeling that there's something more for you in this life, the very first thing your logical mind does is jump in and say, but how? How are you going to pay for that? How are you going to find the time? How are you going to convince others? How are you going to overcome all these obstacles? And right there, in that moment, you've killed your dream before it even had a chance to breathe. The universe doesn't work on how. The universe works on intention. It works on energy. It works on the law of attraction, on the power of your thoughts, on the strength of your belief. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't stand there and worry about how that seed is going to become a tree. You don't dig it up every day to check on its progress. You don't question the intelligence that's within that seed, the same intelligence that beats your heart and digests your food without you having to think about it. You trust, you water it, you give it sunlight, and you let nature do what nature does. Your dreams work the same way. When you have an intention, when you have a clear vision of what you want to create in your life, the how is not your business. Your business is the what and the why. What do you want? Why do you want it? Those are the only two questions you need to answer. The how will reveal itself when you stop blocking it with your doubts and your logical mind's insistence on having all the answers before you take the first step. Think about every major accomplishment in your life. Did you know exactly how it was going to happen when you started? Did you have a detailed roadmap with every turn marked out? Of course not. You took a step, then another step, and the path revealed itself as you walked it. That's how life works. That's how creation works. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step. But here's what happens to most people. They get this beautiful inspiration. This divine idea drops into their consciousness. Maybe it's starting a business. Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's changing careers, or moving to a new place, or starting a relationship, or healing their body. And for a moment, they feel it. They feel the excitement. They feel the possibility. They feel connected to something greater than themselves. And then, within seconds, the how monster appears. That's a nice dream, but how exactly are you going to make that happen? And the dream deflates like a balloon with a hole in it. You've got to understand something fundamental about how this universe operates. The universe is not limited by your limited thinking. The universe has infinite ways of bringing things into your life. Infinite ways. But when you insist on knowing the how, you're limiting the universe to only the ways your logical mind can conceive. And your logical mind, as wonderful as it is tiny compared to the infinite intelligence that orchestrates everything. When you say, I want to make more money, but I don't know how, you're basically telling the universe, I'll only accept money if it comes through the channels I can currently see. So you look at your job and you think, well, I'm not getting a raise, so how can I make more money? And you close yourself off to the thousands of other ways money could flow to you. An unexpected opportunity, a new connection, an idea that comes to you in the shower, a chance meeting, a door opening where there was a wall, but you won't see these opportunities because you're stuck in the how. The same goes for healing. People say, I want to heal my body, but I don't know how. And they mean they don't know which medicine to take, which doctor to see, which procedure to undergo. But healing happens in mysterious ways. Sometimes healing comes from a change in diet. Sometimes it comes from releasing old anger. Sometimes it comes from laughter, from love, from forgiveness, from a walk in nature, from meditation, from prayer. Sometimes it comes from conventional medicine. Sometimes it comes from alternative approaches. Sometimes it just happens spontaneously, miraculously. But when you're fixated on the how, you narrow your options instead of expanding them. Here's what I want you to understand at the deepest level. You are not separate from the creative force of the universe. You are not a beggar pleading with an external God to give you what you need. You are an expression of that infinite intelligence. The same power that grows flowers and moves planets and transforms caterpillars into butterflies lives within you. And that power knows how. That power has always known how. That power has been orchestrating miracles since the beginning of time. Your job is not to figure out how. Your job is to align yourself with that power. Your job is to get yourself out of the way. Your job is to release the resistance, the doubt, the fear, the need to control every detail. Your job is to trust, and trust is not passive. Trust is active. Trust is saying, I don't know how this is going to happen, but I'm going to act as if it's already on its way. I'm going to think it. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to prepare for it. I'm going to be ready when it arrives. When you worry about how, what you're really doing is placing conditions on your good. You're saying, I'll only believe this is possible if I can see the path from here to there. But life doesn't work that way. If you needed to see the entire path, you'd never grow. You'd never expand. You'd never experience anything beyond what you've already experienced. The whole point of life is to venture into the unknown, to create something new, to become more than you were yesterday. Every single person who has ever achieved anything significant has had to take a leap of faith. They had to move forward without knowing how. The Wright brothers didn't know how to build an airplane, but they had a vision, and they kept working on it, and the how revealed itself through their action. Martin Luther King didn't know how he was going to change the world, but he had a dream, and he spoke it, and he lived it, and the how unfolded. Every artist, every entrepreneur, every inventor, every pioneer has had to deal with not knowing how. And the ones who succeeded are the ones who didn't let that stop them. The how question is really fear dressed up as practicality. It's your ego trying to keep you safe, trying to keep you in your comfort zone, trying to prevent you from taking risks. Your ego wants proof before you start. It wants guarantees. It wants insurance. But growth doesn't come with guarantees. Change doesn't come with insurance. Creation requires uncertainty. It requires stepping into the void without a safety net. And here's the beautiful paradox. The moment you release the need to know how, the moment you surrender to the process, the moment you trust that you're being guided, that's when the how shows up. Not before, after. The universe responds to your faith, not to your doubt. It responds to your trust, not to your fear. It responds to your willingness to move forward in spite of not knowing, not to your demand for proof before you begin. So what does this look like in practical terms? It means you start with the end in mind. You get clear about what you want. You feel it as if it's already real. You visualize it. You think about it. You talk about it. You write about it. You take whatever action you're inspired to take, even if it seems small or insignificant. You follow your intuition. You pay attention to synchronicities. You notice when doors open. You say yes to opportunities that align with your vision, even if you don't understand why. You show up. You do the work. You keep the faith, and you stop asking how. Every time that question comes up, you gently set it aside. You say, that's not my concern right now. My concern is staying aligned with my intention. My concern is keeping my vibration high. My concern is being open and receptive to guidance, because guidance will come. The next step will be revealed. The right people will appear. The resources will show up, but not on your timetable, not according to your plan. According to a much bigger plan that you can't possibly see from where you're standing. This is about developing a new relationship with uncertainty. Instead of seeing uncertainty as a threat, you see it as possibility. Instead of needing to control everything, you learn to flow with what is. Instead of gripping tightly to your plans, you hold them loosely and allow them to evolve. Instead of demanding that life meet your expectations, you remain curious about what wants to emerge. You know what happens when you live this way? Magic happens. Things fall into place in ways you never could have planned. You meet exactly the right person at exactly the right time. You get an idea that changes everything. You stumble upon information that you weren't even looking for, but that's exactly what you needed. You experience what people call coincidences, but there's no such thing as coincidence. There's only the universe responding to your vibration, to your intention, to your openness. But you can't experience any of this if you're stuck in the how, because the how keeps you in your head instead of in your heart. The how keeps you in analysis paralysis instead of in inspired action. The how keeps you looking at what is instead of focusing on what could be. The how is the enemy of faith, and without faith, you're trying to create from a place of lack, from a place of limitation, from a place of separation. Let me tell you what's on the other side of releasing the how. Freedom, peace, joy, excitement, adventure. When you're not burdened by needing to figure everything out, you're free to enjoy the process. You're free to be present. You're free to appreciate where you are while you're moving toward where you want to be. You're free to be surprised. You're free to receive in ways you never expected. And here's something else that happens. You become more intuitive. When you're not drowning in mental chatter about how things should work, you can hear that still small voice within. You can feel the nudges. You can sense the rightness or wrongness of a choice. You can trust your gut. Your intuition is the universe's way of guiding you, but you can't hear it when your mind is screaming how all the time. Think about a time when you were in love. Did you sit there and analyze how you were going to make the relationship work? Did you create spreadsheets and flowcharts? Or did you just feel it and trust it and enjoy it and let it unfold? That's the energy you want to bring to your entire life. That's the energy of creation. That's the energy of allowing. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't make plans. I'm not saying you shouldn't take practical steps. I'm not saying you should just sit on your couch and wait for things to magically appear. What I'm saying is that your plans should be flexible, not rigid. Your steps should be inspired, not forced. Your action should come from a place of excitement and clarity, not from a place of fear and desperation. There's a big difference between taking action from inspiration and taking action from obligation. When you're taking action from inspiration, you're in the flow. Time disappears. You feel energized, not drained. Things work out easily. You're being pulled forward by your vision rather than pushing against resistance. But when you're taking action from obligation, from the belief that you have to figure it all out yourself, everything feels hard. You're exhausted, you're frustrated, you keep hitting walls. The universe is always trying to help you, always. But you've got to get out of the way. You've got to stop micromanaging. You've got to stop insisting on your limited ways of making things happen. You've got to open up to the infinite possibilities that exist beyond what your logical mind can conceive. And yes, sometimes the how that shows up looks nothing like what you expected. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's different, sometimes it takes longer than you wanted. Sometimes it happens faster than you dreamed. But if you're rigid about how things should unfold, you'll miss what's actually trying to happen. You'll be so focused on your plan that you won't see the miracle that's right in front of you. This is about surrendering control without giving up your power. It's about being intentional without being attached. It's about having a vision without having to dictate every detail of how that vision comes to life. It's about being the gardener, not the seed. You plant it, you water it, you create the conditions for growth, but you don't force the flower to bloom. You trust the process. Every moment you spend worrying about how is a moment you're not spending in gratitude. It's a moment you're not spending in appreciation. It's a moment you're not spending in the feeling of your dream already being real. And those feelings are what attract your good to you. Those feelings are what activate the law of attraction. When you feel grateful, when you feel abundant, when you feel joyful, you're sending out a signal that brings more things to be grateful for, more abundance, more joy. But when you're in the how, you're in lack. You're in worry, you're in fear, and that sends out a very different signal that attracts more lack, more worry, more fear. Your feelings are your feedback system. They're telling you whether you're aligned with your intention or not. If asking how makes you feel contracted, anxious, stressed, that's your sign to let it go. So here's what I'm inviting you to do right now, today. Take whatever it is you've been wanting to create, whatever dream you've been putting off because you don't know how, and make a decision. Decide that you're going to stop asking how. Decide that you're going to trust the process. Decide that you're going to focus on the what and the why and let the how take care of itself. Write down your intention. Make it clear. Make it specific. Feel it. Really feel it. What would it feel like if this was already real in your life? How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you show up? Be that person now, not when it happens. Now, because the truth is, you become it first, and then you see it. You don't see it and then become it. You be it, and then you see it. That's the secret that most people get backwards. And then take action, but not frantic action, not desperate action, inspired action. What feels right? What feels exciting? What's the next obvious step? Take that step, and then wait for the next one to reveal itself. And it will. I promise you, it will. But only if you're paying attention, only if you're open, only if you've released the death grip on needing to know how. You are more powerful than you know. You are more supported than you realize. You are more loved than you can comprehend. And you are absolutely, completely, undeniably capable of creating anything your heart desires. But not by figuring it out, by allowing it, by trusting, by believing, by knowing that you're being guided every step of the way. The answers you seek are not in your head. They're not in a book. They're not in someone else's experience. They're in the silence. They're in the stillness. They're in that space between your thoughts where infinite intelligence resides. That's where the how lives. But you can't access it when you're frantically searching for it. You can only access it when you relax, when you breathe, when you trust, So stop worrying about how. Stop making it your business. Stop blocking your good by demanding to see the path before you walk it. Life is asking you to trust. The universe is asking you to have faith. Your soul is asking you to believe in something greater than your logical mind can understand. And when you do, when you really let go, when you really surrender the how, something miraculous happens. The how appears. Not in the way you expected, not according to your plan, but in the perfect way, at the perfect time, with perfect grace. And you'll look back and you'll see that every step, even the ones that didn't make sense at the time, was leading you exactly where you needed to go. You'll see that every closed door was protecting you from something that wasn't right for you. You'll see that every delay was divine timing. You'll see that every challenge was strengthening you. You'll see that you were never alone, never unsupported, never forgotten. You'll see that the universe was always conspiring in your favor, always working behind the scenes, always orchestrating miracles. But you have to stop asking how. You have to stop demanding proof. You have to stop letting fear disguise itself as practicality. You have to start living from a place of trust, of faith, of knowing. You have to start being the person who creates from the invisible, who believes in what hasn't manifested yet, who walks by faith and not by sight. This is not about being naive. This is not about ignoring reality. This is about creating a new reality. This is about understanding that you are not a victim of circumstances. You are a creator of circumstances. And creators don't ask how. They declare what. They feel why. And they allow the how to emerge in its own perfect timing. Your life is waiting for you to step into this truth. Your dreams are waiting for you to stop blocking them with your doubts. Your highest self is waiting for you to trust what it already knows. Everything you want wants you too, but you've got to make space for it. And you make space by releasing what doesn't serve you. And what doesn't serve you is the constant, exhausting, faith-killing question of how. Let it go. Release it. Give it to the universe. Say, I don't need to know how. I just need to know that it's happening. I just need to stay aligned. I just need to keep my heart open and my mind clear and my faith strong. And then watch what happens. Watch as the path appears. Watch as opportunities arise. Watch as people show up. Watch as circumstances shift. Watch as the impossible becomes possible. Because that's what happens when you get yourself out of the way. That's what happens when you stop limiting the universe with your limited thinking. That's what happens when you remember who you really are and what you're really capable of. You're not just a physical being having a physical experience. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. And as a spiritual being, you're connected to all the power, all the wisdom, all the resources that exist in this infinite universe. You don't need to figure out how to tap into that power. You already are that power. You just need to stop blocking it. You need to stop doubting it. You need to stop questioning it. You need to start trusting it. You need to start using it. You need to start being it. And that starts with letting go of how. That starts with surrendering control. That starts with having faith in something you can't see but can feel. That starts with believing that you're worthy of your dreams, that you're capable of creating miracles, that you're deserving of all the good that life has to offer. So stop worrying about how. Start focusing on now. Start being present. Start appreciating what is while you're creating what will be. Start enjoying the journey instead of being obsessed with the destination. Start trusting that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, even when it doesn't look like it. Start knowing, not just hoping, not just wishing, but knowing that what you seek is seeking you. The how is not your job. The how is the universe's job. Your job is to show up. Your job is to stay aligned. Your job is to keep the faith. Your job is to be ready. Your job is to say yes when the opportunity appears. Your job is to take the next step when it's revealed. Your job is to trust the process, even when the process doesn't make sense. And if you can do that, if you can really let go of the need to know how, your life will transform. Not overnight, not magically without any effort, but steadily, surely, beautifully. You'll find yourself in places you never imagined. You'll be surrounded by people you never expected to meet. You'll have opportunities you never thought possible. You'll experience synchronicities that take your breath away. You'll witness miracles that make you laugh with joy. All because you stopped asking how and started trusting. All because you released the need to control and started allowing. All because you moved from fear to faith. All because you remembered that you're not doing this alone. You're being guided. You're being supported. You're being loved every step of the way. So take a deep breath. Feel the truth of these words in your body. And make a commitment right now to stop worrying about how. Make a commitment to trust. Make a commitment to have faith. Make a commitment to believe in yourself and in the infinite intelligence that's always working on your behalf. Your dreams are possible. Your desires are valid. Your vision is real. And the how, well, the how will take care of itself, just like it always has, just like it always will. You've got this. Not because you know how, but because you trust what knows.